If we're live, that thing. Oh, there, it's green.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Let's see, because we're not there yet. We're still not there. Still not there.
On the YouTube.
There we go. I think we're live now.
We're live on the YouTube.
Yep, we are live. Hurrah, hurrah. Okay. I wish there was a way we could like cut that first part out. But anyway, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Julie.
Yay! And this is our like first real show together. This is Untitled Nerd Network live at Infinity Flux in Hickson, Tennessee, and UNN live. Yay! I really busted my tail coming up with a name for that. UNN live.
I like it.
Ah. So anyway, we are here tonight with our live show, the first ever live show. No pressure. No pressure.
I'm great live. You can edit it, right?
With Melissa Grubb, and you are the, I guess, organizer. Founder, organizer
of the Cosplay Yard Sale? Yes.
Yeah.
It's I want it to sound bigger than it is, so I'm going to pretend there's more than just me.
Okay. So when this, when you and several dozen other people.
Yes, lots of people, lots of staff.
Tell me exactly what this is, because first off, we're going to be there. I won't be, but it's actually my co-host Amber and Single Sarah. They are going to be at a table at the Cosplay Yard Sale. It's not going to be me. I actually have to work, so that's going to be their first solo project. I'm awfully proud of them. But they are going to be set up there, and let us know what to expect at this place. It's going to be at Camp Jordan Arena.
It is inside the arena, so it's rain or shine. So everybody show up no matter if it's raining or not, because it's not an outside yard sale. It's inside Camp Jordan Arena. It is a bunch of tables that are vendors selling. There might be vendors that you know from local cons, or there might be individuals selling cosplay stuff that they've made, or even because it is essentially a cosplay yard sale stuff.
So the name holds true.
Yes, it is intended to be. This is our fourth year. The first year we did it, this is our fourth year and first year doing 2-day event, so it's always been on Saturday before, but it was literally me, and I think I had 8 vendors the first year. And it was just kind of a, hey, let's do this. I already have the space because we partner with another event that's a large Warhammer National Team Championship. So it's kind of that in itself is a big deal. I had extra space there, so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy any more costume stuff or make any more costume stuff until I get rid of stuff I'm not going to ever use. So I said, hey, yard sale. So I advertised on Facebook, word of mouth, and got 8 people to set up tables. And then we've been doing it. We've grown every year since.
Yeah, I've noticed, because I actually heard about this at, I'm like part of the group Chatawayne.
Yes.
And so about a month and a half ago, everybody was like, hey, there's this thing coming up this summer where, because everybody has tons of cosplay stuff that they've worn once, or they just, it's not for me, or, they've got 1,000 costumes. And then they're wondering, hey, I want something else, but I don't want all this stuff anymore. What can I do with it? Yeah. So this is that answer.
Yes, this is that answer. It's really for to get rid of stuff that you're not going to use. I've seen people sell complete costumes. Somebody just happened to be able to wear the same size. I've seen people sell pieces, props, corsets, all kinds of different stuff. And we've expanded to, there's some other geeky vendors as well, not just straight cosplay stuff. So it's something you can come bring friends to, come as a group, and even if you're not a cosplayer, you'll find something you want. So we've had people that set up and have done some 3D printing before. Just all kinds of different stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime you want to chime in, Julie, I'll throw you the microphone.
Thanks. I was actually at the Cosplay Yard Sale last year, and there was a lot of stuff there. I was really impressed with the whole selection.
You came as a shopper?
I came as a shopper, yeah. There were whole costumes, there was jewelry, there were props like swords and stuff, and then there was stuff to like make your own costumes, which was really fun for me because I like to do that kind of stuff. So
there was a lady that came, and she's setting up again this year. She actually brought fabric, like scraps and panels and things like that. So, and I mean, we had a couple of artists last year too. So it's, not just a cosplay yard sale. There's geek stuff too, but it's a lot of cosplay stuff. And I have, we don't do panels. People message me each year. I'm like, hey, can we wear costumes? I'm like, it's a yard sale. Sure. Like, it's cosplay yard sale, so it makes sense. But we've had such a great response. It's almost overwhelming for socially awkward people that like me, that people are like, oh, I'm so excited, and well, what about this and what about that? I'm like, oh, it's a yard sale for cosplay stuff. I don't know how much, but people have embraced it and love it. So it's each year we try to do bigger and better.
Have you thought about maybe going kind of sort of the con route with it?
I don't want that. I've already I can't say that I would never do it, but the event that is our brother event, I won't say sister because it's ran by my husband, so he's be more like a brother. But our brother event is the American Team Championships. It's a huge national 40K fantasy Warhammer event that's a lot of work. And we have friends that run cons, and we know what the work it goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
I just like having my little cosplay yard sale that people can set up, sell their stuff. It's not really intended to be a con. I had somebody last year that got aggravated. It was like the worst con ever because they showed up. They showed up at 8:30. We didn't open till 9, and they were mad that people weren't set up. Again, it started at 9. It's free entry, so no matter what, you're going to get your money's worth.
That's why you don't have Stan Lee set up signing autographs.
Exactly. Like we're because we're able to partner with this other event. I don't have to charge to get in. So that's kind of why we're keeping it small, because I haven't had to even do an entry fee. Shoppers, it's free to get in. You just come, hang out, look, buy stuff, and then come back the next day and buy more stuff. And I've tried to keep my vendor prices, reasonable for that. If I tried to get bigger and become more like a con, then I'd have to change, and there's more money involved, and I'd rather keep it just a fun summer event for, that's casual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, free to get in, just come in, shop, so you can spend your money on the stuff and not entry.
Exactly.
So, we're going to announce a contest. We're going to give away 4 free passes to the Cosplay Yard Sale. And, subscribe to win. So tell me about, anything of note that you've seen over the last 4 years. I know you've probably seen some really crazy stuff that's come through, some really neat costumes.
We've seen some really awesome, there's a couple of vendors that come and make steampunk props. So there are people that want to do the steampunk but are very intimidated by the crafting, because it's a very crafty cosplay to do when you're in that genre at all. So I've had some people that were able to come and get something like a really good starter prop so that they could build their costume around it. I actually had a couple of custom corsets that I sold last year that were part of costumes I had worn. A steampunk Catwoman cosplay that a lady showed up, fit her perfectly, and she was able to just, hey, I'm done. I bought my costume. I don't need it for anything else. There was a Wonder Woman costume a few years ago. I think it was actually the first year. And this girl had worn it for, I think it was roller derby, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But she had made it herself. And it was like shorts with stars sewn on it. But it was awesome. And it was a reasonable price. That's the thing. If you want to go the route of, I want it to look like I made it, come to the Cosplay Yard Sale. It won't look store-bought. It'll look like somebody made it, which is even better, because we all know that that's the whole point. It has to look like somebody made it, depending on what realm of the cosplay snobbery spectrum you fall on.
Now, I mean, I've seen some cosplay stuff that's you wonder how these people aren't working in the film industry with some of the details and stuff. Like we've interviewed probably 36 cosplayers over the past year, and I mean, just the talent is crazy.
It is.
So like if you're interested, like let's say you don't have an ounce of tailoring ability in your body, which is me. Like everything I wear is store bought. Like my Negan cosplay that I did was like a jacket, shirt, scarf, boots. Like I never touched a needle to thread. But somebody who, you know, doesn't feel that they have that ability to create something, this is like a perfect opportunity. Because like last year, how many tables were there?
We had 30 individual vendors, which I'm limited on space, so I probably will have 30. Trying to add extra. We'll find out this week. But we had 30 individual vendors, so there was some of them had bigger tables and things. But the awesome thing is, some of the stuff that I had at my table was stuff I found at Goodwill, because I don't sew. I will pay somebody to make it, or Goodwill find it. I have an entire most of my Osgood cosplay from Doctor Who's 50th anniversary, Goodwill. And then, you know, bring that stuff to the Cosplay Yard Sale, and somebody else doesn't have to go to Goodwill. But there's a lot of that kind of stuff each year. There's a lot of stuff that people have bought, found. There were, again, I don't sew. We have the piece that I sold that was this, it was actually a well-known-ish steampunk dressmaking website. That was tailored custom to me, but this girl actually was able to fit it. So, and we have vendors that will let people try stuff on too. So.
So there are there like places to change?
Yeah, I mean there's a restroom. It's actually, because it's inside Camp Jordan. There's concessions. There's air conditioning. There's bathrooms. So it's actually not really like a typical yard sale, because it's going to be outside. So
and what day? This is going to be in the middle of July.
Yeah, it's July 15th and 16th, so Saturday and Sunday. We actually have some vendors that are only going to be there Saturday, and some vendors that are only going to be there Sunday. So if you can make it out both days, come both days, because you're going to see something different each day.
What are the times for Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sunday is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay, so basically yard sale times.
Yes, yard sale times, yes.
Yeah, yes. So like, you know,
not con times.
You know, the vendors aren't going to be there till like 9 o'clock that night. You know, it's going to be over pretty early, and everybody will still be able to enjoy a Saturday, even after the yard sale.
Oh, yeah. We have people that are there every year, the last couple years, right at 9 o'clock, ready to shop. Like it's pretty cool to see all the people showing up, super excited. I've had kids get their whole costume and be so excited, you know, or be able to find a couple pieces of what they needed. I
was actually going to ask, like, there are children's stuff there too?
Yeah, I mean, there's all genders, sizes, ages, ranges of costumes. Like, you can find, I think somebody was even selling animal costumes, like, for your dogs, but there's all kinds of stuff. So there's, like, you know, I've had people try selling armor. There was somebody that was selling, like, I actually have 2 booths that are specifically plus size, because that's the costumes that they have and they collect and buy and make. I have a couple that did some kids stuff, mostly adults, but there have been kids pieces too. So,
okay,
yeah.
Awesome. Now, let's see. Am I missing anything, Julie? Am I missing anything? There's something I'm not asking.
Keep talking, so.
You keep asking all the questions that I'm going to ask,
Okay.
so...
I hadn't covered them all, though.
I don't have one yet. I'll get one, though.
Anything else you want to add that I've not asked?
No, I think, trying to think of what else. I want to encourage everybody to come on out, because even if you've been before, it's going to be different each year. You know, it's not like, badge reels. Like, if you have to have a badge for work, she does badge reels. She does, like, coin purses, jewelry, and then I've got some vendors selling etched glass. Jessica Post does etched glass, so you can get geeky shot glasses and pub glasses.
Holy crap!
All
that's
kinds of stuff. Yeah,
that's something.
I've got James Ward. He does a lot of stuff. He always has some really neat stuff at Conuga. He sets up every year. It's different crafty stuff. Like, he does lamps and all kinds of different things. We've got 1 or 2 jewelry vendors. So, you know, we've got a good mix of yard sale and con vendor.
What are the prices like for people on a budget? Are they going to be able to find something?
All
there?
price ranges. I would say that most everybody is going to be in that yard sale vendor price as far as costuming, because I think most of my costume vendors are actual yard sale vendors and most of the people selling new stuff are the artsy vendors, and all of their stuff is in the decent price point. Lower price end, not like haven't seen a lot of like $300 or $400 items. So I think even some of the full costumes, I saw people be able to get full costumes from like $50 to $100, and
really
these
good.
were costumes that would have been a lot of pieces, a lot of props, and still were able to get a good price.
Yeah,
for
it definitely probably would have cost you a lot more time and money to put that together yourself.
Yes, yeah. One of the ones that I saw, the person had paid like $400 to have a custom dress made, and then they sold it for like $75.
We got a couple of late entrants into the chat here. Redneck Survival says hello. He actually saw our Saturday night stream where we were having a good time. Yeah, he was there for that. And then Josh, who's one of our regulars, wanted to know if there's an admission fee or if it's free. It is free of charge. You don't have to pay a dime to get in. All your money can be spent on cosplay. And I know he does. He actually does some pretty good Doctor Who stuff.
Oh, I love Doctor Who cosplay.
God, who was the Doctor Who with the hat? The red hat?
Tom Baker? Oh, the Fez?
Yes,
Matt Smith.
yes.
Is he a Matt Smith cosplayer?
I think so. I'm almost positive. He'll probably confirm that here in a minute.
No, I'm a Osgood cosplayer, if you can't tell. I've got the glasses and the ponytail and the Fourth Doctor scarf.
I'm trying to get, I just got my Amazon back.
Oh.
So I've actually only recently watched the Ninth Doctor, and I'm like 4 episodes into number 10 right now.
Oh.
So
you got a ways. She was the costume I used from the 50th anniversary, because each costume's usually a specific episode instead of
that wasn't too long ago.
No, it was 2013.
Okay, yeah. So it's
yeah,
well after what I've seen,
Yes.
but well before now.
yes, yeah, it's good stuff. It's one of those things that I love cosplay, but I try to stick to anything that doesn't require a wig. And so we were at the 50th anniversary watching the episode at the theater, and she comes on screen with pulled back dark hair, ponytail, and glasses, like, oh, mine, totally doing that. So I was able to find everything I needed, because again, I don't sew, at Goodwill, or the only thing I wasn't able to find at Goodwill was the scarf. And because I have to do screen accurate, I can crochet. This scarf is knit.
Oh.
I wasn't going to learn knitting. I was not about to do that. So I actually had one of the vendors from the first year at the Cosplay Yard Sale was somebody that had knit the entire 12-foot scarf for me, because I was able to find it online.
Wow.
Yeah. I found the pattern online. They were able to.
Oh, he does confirm that he is a Matt Smith cosplayer.
Sweet.
And but he is looking into some different stuff. You can probably find some different stuff at the Cosplay Yard Sale.
It's lots of stuff. It's lots of stuff.
Now I have to say, I want to know your thoughts on Star Wars shirts that show Luke and Leia in a provocative pose.
We were talking about this before. So I got this at Old Navy for May the 4th, and it has Luke and Leia in this romantical, swinging across the pose.
They look like an adorable couple.
Right, and then Han Solo's way down here. Whoever made this shirt has no clue. They have no clue anything about Star Wars.
Definitely.
But it's a pulp novel cover, so
Yes.
I had to get it because it was awesome, and $5. But
it's
still,
definitely an episode 4 advertisement.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Well, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what this is about. But it's funny because it makes it look like the brother and sister are kind of, in love or not.
Now, I don't know if I wonder if, did Lucas, when he made episode 4, did he know that they were brother and sister at that point? Did he already have the whole thing written out, basically, or was that a curveball?
He's had everything planned since the beginning.
That's what I heard as well.
But I can't imagine that he thought of Jar Jar Binks way ahead of time. So I don't know if I believe how
Yeah.
far ahead he thought about this.
I can't think, because there actually was a part in Empire Strikes Back where she kissed him.
Yes.
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 So
I don't know. I mean, you'd think he would have avoided that if he had thought about that ahead of time. I don't know.
because I don't think they ever said that she was a sister until Jedi, right? Am I right on that?
Think
Oh, gosh.
so.
Put me
Yoda
on the
told
spot.
her
Yes.
when he went back.
There is another.
Yeah.
Oh, but that could also mean something else.
And then Obi-Wan actually
Yeah.
told him as a ghost. So Ghost shows up in the middle of a swamp, says, "Hey, you know that girl you kissed?"
That's your sister.
Sister.
That's your sister. No.
But yeah, I want to talk, let's kill some time and talk about the nerdum of Melissa.
Oh, okay. You want like my resume?
Yeah, your nerd resume. Because
Okay.
you already told me that the only comics you've read were Generation X and Runaways.
No, the only Marvel comics
Marvel.
I've read
Okay.
are Generation X from
Clarify.
the mid '90s and Runaways from the early 2000s. Not the current Runaways, which sucks. I've the entire set or series of Catwoman that started in 2001. I love Catwoman is
Okay.
my character. I love her. I've actually done 3 Catwoman cosplays, and I have parts for a 4th started. So that's the character I prefer or I like the most because she's an anti-hero.
Did you do Catwoman at Connuga this year?
No, I did
Okay.
Catwoman at Connuga. Oh, no, I actually wasn't able to make it to Connuga this year.
Okay.
I did Catwoman at Connuga. I did a steampunk Catwoman in the purple costume like 5 years ago. I also did a Catwoman Connuga. There may or may not be a Fandom Girls calendar from like 2009, 2010 with me as the Golden Age Catwoman, which is the purple dress,
Yeah.
cape, cowl. I also did the 2001-ish version of Catwoman, like was my first costume that my husband and I did when we went our second year to Dragon Con. And it was so funny because I'm like, oh, this is good enough. We'll do this and this will be good enough. And he's like, no, we can't do that. And our first attempt at a costume, and we're cutting belt buckles out of cardboard because we couldn't find the exact belt buckle that was correct for the boots. So we made it we cut them out of cardboard and spray painted them and put glue on them to make them stiff so that they would actually work for the boots.
I will say, from a distance, who cares?
Yeah, up close you couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
We were
That
pretty proud
seems
of
to be the thing
Yeah.
with a lot of cosplay stuff, especially homemade, is people are like, they look at it like this, and they're like, oh god, it looks like crap. But if you set it over
In a
there where those
picture,
comic books are,
That's all that matters.
and they're like, wow, look at that, I did such a good job.
My favorite part about cons, now that I actually observe more now than actual cosplay, but I like to stare at people's costumes to try to figure out what they made it out of. Like the props, I don't sew, but I love making props. That's what I love to do. I made my own cat whip. I did the JB weld. I put the brass pieces on. So I like looking at people's stuff and figuring out what they did. One of my favorite cosplayers to follow is Paige Turner. She does a ton of steampunk stuff. A lot of hers involves masks and things, but she is awesome. She's from Alabama, and she took this steamer basket, like those things that fold up like flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she made a mask out of it, and it was freaking awesome.
Wow.
Like-
I'm gonna have to see this.
Yeah, it is.
Matter of fact, we're gonna have to interview her.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Paige Gardner. Paige Gardner, not Turner. Paige Gardner. Anyway, she's great. But she does a lot of stuff like that. But anyway, so I read DC Comics, or I read Catwoman. I love The Walking Dead. I've read all the issues of that. I may or may not have worked at or owned a comic book and gaming store in Chattanooga at one point.
Okay.
That's been a while ago. I was the first Miss Connuga.
Well, what was it called?
It was Dice Head.
Okay. In Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Whatever.
here.
We're cool.
in
I know.
Jason's store, so I
But
don't
like,
wanna be
places,
yeah,
just
it was
different
here in
places and
Chattanooga.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
it was
It's a
here in Chattanooga.
community.
It's been a while ago.
I mean, we're not advertising. We're just
right, correct.
getting info.
Right.
Discussing.
Yes. And then but yeah, we do a lot of cosplay stuff. I actually have, I play in Warhammer tournaments, like, not for a while, but we've done some traveling with playing in Warhammer 40K tournaments. I play orcs. Woohoo! That's not how the orcs go. They're supposed to make this big manly roar, but I don't really have a
kind of like the elite in Halo. It's like, roar, roar.
Yes, but I don't really do that very well, so I just woohoo.
You want to do a
woohoo?
No, you got to do the deep, like a swallow the frog
Yeah.
sound.
But some of my favorite cosplays are things that mean a lot to me. So I do a Sisters of Battle costume because I used to play Sisters of Battle, which is a Warhammer 40K army. Osgood from Doctor Who is my favorite. I love River Song, but I've done a River Song cosplay, but I can't manage the hair. Like, I have to have a wig to do it, and I just don't like the way it looks. So I'm like, I'm not doing that because I can't do it right. Like, I have some friends that are River Song cosplayers that do a phenomenal job, and I just leave that to them, because if I can't get it right, I'm not going to do it. So I just can't.
I don't know if you said, did you actually confirm favorite Doctor?
Probably really Matt Smith. Like, it was hard. I did not like him to begin with. I was all about David Tennant. But the writing that Matt Smith got and all the storylines was so much better because they had a better budget, that even going back and rewatching them, he's my favorite. I like Capaldi, he's fine, but Matt Smith's my Doctor.
So far I'm straight up number 9, just because he was my first so far, but we'll see how it goes.
He was my first, but I just don't like him. He's okay.
A lot of people
he
are like,
did it because to do it, he didn't care about doing it. He legit said, I'm just going to do this for a year because I can. I don't care.
He was good at it, though.
Yes, he was. He was awful goofy. I honestly, I watched the first episode of his Doctor Who. Was my first episode ever with those stupid mannequins.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like 2 weeks before my husband could talk me into watching it again. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then the next 2 episodes were those stupid things with the green and the puffy lips and the and every time I rewatch the series, I skip over those episodes.
The ones
they're farting and they're green.
Yeah, because they wear the human skin.
Yes, and their faces look so dumb.
They to date are my least favorite villain so far. Because I just can't get into cheesy sci-fi, and that's what it felt like the first little bit. Without spoiling favorite Doctor Who villain, like without spoiling anything for me, you don't give anything away plot wise. I don't know why my brain just went to Negan. Like, favorite villain, love Negan. Well, Negan versus the Doctor. He's not even in Doctor Who. He's just my favorite villain ever. I don't know. The Ood were not really. They were only villains, but not really. I love the Ood, but they're not really villains. They were mean in one episode. Okay, the Master. You probably haven't gotten there yet. So one of the Masters. He's pretty crazy. Yeah. No, like to date, my favorite villain is I can't remember her name. It's been a minute since I've watched. She was like the last human, and she was the skin stretch. Oh. Because I saw how her storyline wrapped up. Yes. And it was freaking amazing. Julie, do you watch Doctor Who?
I do not. I've seen like Christmas episodes, and that's all I've seen, and it wasn't enough to get me hooked. Oh.
Well, you're fired.
Did you see really bad Christmas episodes with the spinning Santa Christmas trees? Because that one's really bad. That one's really bad. We don't even watch that when we watch the Christmas episodes. So what we're discovering is that she has actually watched like the crap that you have to scrape out of the bottom. We don't. When we watch at Christmas, we have a big stack of geeky Christmas things that we watch, and all the Doctor Who Christmas ones are in there. And we usually skip past that one. It's like David Tennant's first Christmas episode or second, and it's like these creepy Santas with the spinning Christmas tree, and it's really, I just don't like it. Terrible. But if you're not, Martha's not the companion yet, right? No. Oh, see, you're still on Rose. Yeah. I'm so excited for you. I mean, I know that they cycle out, and I don't know the circumstances, but I know that they come and go. Cassandra, the chick that was Skin. Yeah. There's another person in that storyline or another creature
Okay.
face a bow.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I get so excited when I hear people don't know yet.
I've been told to expect big things out of
Yeah,
that
it's
eventually.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
It's like one sentence, and you're like, so,
now I
sorry.
won't. Let's see.
I get really excited about things I like.
Josh has put moisturize me in the comments.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Now I guess while we have you here, we'll go ahead and like do the rest of the show, and
Okay.
I want to know everybody's thoughts on the passing of Adam West. Without getting all emotional and teary-eyed and having to leave camera and everything else.
It was very sad. Very unexpected. I was pretty shocked when I heard.
I didn't even know he was facing an illness. It just, I was like, whoa, what is this? And I had several people like on my Facebook friends list, like not believing it for a good hour or two. You know, they were like, no, this is from like a source that I don't typically trust. And then I start like posting, you know, from like CNN, and they were like, ah, crap. So yeah, very unexpected. Favorite West role?
I like Mayor West.
That's why I asked, because a
Yeah.
lot of people, while you know Adam West was Batman for literally like 3 generations, a lot of people know him from Family Guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've heard that Mayor West is closer to his actual personality. And so I don't know. I think it's hilarious when anybody can play a character that's also really close to who they really are. So I don't know.
I need Julie's thoughts.
My favorite role, because it was the first thing I ever saw him in, was as Catman on Fairly Odd Parents. That was the first experience I ever had with Adam West. Later on, I did see
I need to
the
find
Batman
this.
movies, but yeah, Fairly Odd Parents.
I need to find this because
No, I didn't know that he was in that because I never watched the cartoon, but I didn't know he was in that until like the day that he passed away, and I went on his filmography to see if there was like anything of his on Netflix, and that popped up. I was like, dang, I didn't know he voiced like a Nickelodeon cartoon. Had no clue. Was he a regular?
He was a regular in like a series of maybe 5 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
And he was friends with Timmy and was trying to be a superhero and did all these things that a cat would do. So it was
he a
funny.
human trying to be a cat superhero?
Yes.
But did cat things?
Yes.
Oh, I have to find
Okay,
it.
yeah, I have the weird feeling that my favorite Adam West role has not been watched yet by me then, because that actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, I actually, like, the day of watched the scene where, like, he killed the Noid in Family Guy and was like, perhaps it was the Noid who should have avoided me. Like, to me, that is, like, my all-time favorite Adam West line. But, anybody, like, and I actually, not long ago, like, last week, watched the 66 Batman movie. You know, it's on Netflix right now.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody wants to watch it, finish our show first.
I have that on VHS.
Wow.
God, I can't say that I do.
Hold on to that. That'll be worth
Yes.
it someday.
Did anybody watch the old Batman reruns on like Nick at Night when they used to come on?
I
didn't.
did, but only when we had free cable. Like, they'd give you free cable for a month or whatever. Like, we didn't have Nickelodeon all the time. Oh, no, it was on Nick at Night?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was when Nick at Night was on Nickelodeon.
That's right, before it
we're
became
talking.
TV Land, like forever ago.
We're talking 93, 94. That's the
Yeah.
era that I first saw the 1960s Batman. And
I didn't like the 1960s Batman when I was a kid. Like, I appreciate it now
Yeah.
for how cheesy it is. But when I would have been early high school at that time, middle school, high school, I just couldn't get into it.
because I was like in the mid 90s, we didn't have a lot of comic book stuff. You had the Superman movies and the Tim Burton Batman films to that point. Like 93, 94, that was it.
Yeah, there was not
Like
really.
you had like the Incredible Hulk show, the Wonder Woman show, the old shows, you know, from like the 70s and 80s. And let's be honest, they weren't I mean, honestly, the Adam West Batman stuff was the only thing that was halfway true to the comic. You know, there was only so many times you could watch the Hulk beat up on a science engineer or something that was trying to destroy the world. You know, Batman actually had the Joker and the Riddler and the Penguin and Catwoman and, you know, all the villains.
The best Catwoman.
And so, like, it took literally 30 years for anything to even remotely top that.
Yeah.
And, but like, my introduction to Batman was, you know, the 1989 Tim Burton film. And I didn't even know who Batman was until then. No clue. And then I saw this old 60s Batman with Adam West. I was like, huh. You know, like, you're like 10 years old. How do you react to that?
Yeah. It's so cheesy, but but going back and watching it, it's so good. Because, I mean, if you go back and watch that and you watch things like Austin Powers, you know, it's the same kind of campy, cheesy fighting and that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's really cool to go back and see. I mean, everything was bright and colorful, and you know, you get a lot of dark shows now, and I just enjoy. It's fun. It's a fun.
Well,
watch.
it was popular enough that now I haven't heard anything definite on this, but we actually recorded a comic book show last week, and we were talking about like upcoming movies, and you know, comic book movies this year, and they are actually created. I don't know if it's released yet. An animated sequel to the 1960s Batman film, and Adam West and Burt Ward actually voiced the characters in this. I don't think it's released yet. It was supposed to release maybe second half of this year. So that's going to be kind of an emotional roller coaster, because now, you know, we no longer have Adam West. I think they said Burt Ward is like 71.
Yeah, he's still pretty. We saw them at Dragon Con maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They did a 10 a.m. Friday panel. So, like, we're like, oh, we can go to this. There will be nobody there.
Yeah.
And that was back when you could get into stuff on Fridays at Dragon Con. And it was so, they were so funny. They made fun of each other. Mostly Adam West made fun of Burt Ward. But it was so funny.
Was it crowded though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a really crowded.
Okay, I thought that's what you were getting at.
Sorry. Yeah, it was still really, really crowded, but we were able to get in, and it was one of my favorite panels that weekend because we got in, and also because they were so funny, the back and forth between them. Even though, I mean, it'd been 50 years since they'd done the show, but well, not quite at that point. But it was really just funny to listen to them talk to each other and everything. And that was, I didn't really have an appreciation for him before that, because I'd kind of heard he was kind of a jerk sometimes, in like to meet him and get an autograph or whatever. But then after that, I had a new appreciation for the guy.
I think really where a lot of that comes from is a star like that is actually a genuinely likable person, and they enjoy what they do, but chances are they might have been, because like you and I, we've had, we enjoy life, we're pleasant 99 days out of 100, but there's always that one time where you have a bad weekend and you're just like, God, I don't want to be here. People see that, and then suddenly it spreads like wildfire. Oh, what an asshole.
Well, especially because, you're at a con all weekend, sitting at a table, signing autograph after autograph. It can be could wear you down. Like, I couldn't do it. I don't see how.
Especially when you're in your 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Crap, he was 88 when he passed away.
Yeah.
And you saw him, 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
In his 80s.
If I'm able to sit down and do panels and sign autographs when I'm 84 years old.
Yep.
It's a good life.
Yeah. Because I think Stan Lee's like 92 now, and I met him 3 years ago.
I shook his hand. Like, for a half a second.
They wouldn't let me touch him. How long ago did you meet Stan Lee?
When he came to Dragon Con the first time, so about 4 or 5 years ago.
Because I
wasn't even going to be able to go into, we were in line, but unless you had something for him to sign, you couldn't go in.
Yeah.
So we had to, so I had to get, something for him to sign, and we had to pay, we had paid, a friend of ours wanted something signed, so I was like, well, I'll carry this in. And so it was like, here you go. And then he signs it. I was like, thank you. And then, it was so nervous. I'm not good at meeting people. I'm a fan of. I've legit cried at comic artists.
I'm actually, like my thing back in 2014, it was like the weekend before Labor Day weekend. And like I went in, I actually paid at Wizard World Chicago, paid like the $350 VIP deal where you go in, you meet him twice. You meet him once to give him something to sign, and then you have to meet him the next day. It's like a photo op. So I had to like wait in this huge line, and so I actually got lucky, and as I walked up to get my picture made with him, the photographer's like, hold on a second, I need to change cartridges. And I'm like, yes, I get to stand here next to Stan Lee for like an extra 20 seconds.
Woohoo.
But you weren't allowed to touch him because apparently, from what I heard, somebody, it wasn't you, was it? Somebody at some con, like
Hopefully
3 or 4 years, like a year or two before when I went, which would have been probably 2012, 2013, he was shaking hands with people like normal, and a really overzealous fan was like, Stanley! Oh,
Broke his hand?
No, it didn't break his hand, but it made him very uncomfortable, and after that, he was like, nah, no more. I don't want to touch anybody.
No, I can identify with that.
Yeah, I can too,
Yes,
because
overzealous fanboy people or fan people can. I've been that, and I also can't handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can completely understand where the guy was coming from,
Yeah.
but
Super.
because I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same thing, just not controlling myself, because he actually, whenever I gave him my comic book to sign, he said something along the lines of, or I said, thanks for coming out. You always, anytime anybody, I don't care if I am paying you $300, you're 91 years old and you're out here signing comic books instead of living it up in California or whatever. And I was like, thanks for coming out. And he was like, thank you, young man. And I was like, okay, I can die now.
Stanley called me
Yep,
young man.
I can have a heart attack and die right now. I'd be just fine.
that's awesome.
Thank you. Yes. So, but yeah, it's, oh God, I dread the day that we have to see that in memory of Stan Lee on the screen. It's gonna suck.
Let's not talk about
Yeah,
that.
no, we're not.
Yeah,
gonna
let's
talk
just
about
we
that.
just totally went morbid and
Yeah.
just sad and
Yeah, let's moving right along.
Moving right along.
Happy stuff.
Who's
Pick
the
us
favorite?
up.
Oh.
somebody.
Oh, favorite comic artist you've met? Or
Ooh.
see, we got to meet Jim Steranko last year at Dragon
Oh,
Con.
how was that?
Oh, he's awesome. He's like this little bitty old guy in a suit with a pompadour. And he told a story. We went to one of his panels where he told stories about being a daredevil when he was a kid, like legit doing daredevil stunts for money and stuff. But then he did the whole. He's just one of those New York wise guy types. Oh, he was the best. And then he like shook our hand. Well, shook my husband's hand because he was a big fan, and like talked to him for like. I don't know. It was a while.
Well, your
And it was
husband
just
didn't
really
do the like that.
no. It's funny. He's actually much better at meeting celebrities than I am. I cry at people or tell them they're pretty in like a really creepy way. So,
Coolest person you've ever met, Julie?
That's hard.
Let's keep it nerd related.
Well, again, that's really hard. Met John RhysDavies when he was at Dragon Con.
I don't know who that is. Help me
Did you
out.
see Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
He played Gimli in Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I know.
He's
Okay,
super nice.
yeah, I would have been
He's-
excited about
He's
that.
super nice. He's really tall. I love his voice.
Yeah, he's really tall for a dwarf.
Yeah, I know. My friend and I were outside of the, well, I guess it's Walk of Fame. Is that what
Yeah.
it is? The Walk of Fame.
The zoo.
Yeah, the zoo. And he was coming past, and she was breastfeeding her baby. And he actually stopped and he talked to us for like 20 minutes. Apparently, he is very pro breastfeeding. He was super impressed that she was doing that. So he was one of the coolest people I've met.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Cool. Okay, I'm actually jealous of that one. Lord of the Rings. Anything Lord of the Rings.
That's pretty awesome.
That was actually, like, I don't even know if I want to bring this up, but it just occurred to me what we were talking about before the show about the article that I shared about Adam West. I actually shared this to our Facebook page today and caught a lot of flack about it.
Oh, now I gotta go later.
Apparently, it's been news for years, but it's being reshared because of the untimely passing of Adam West. And there is like the story going around that whenever the Batman series first really hit and Adam West kind of became a household name, that he and Burt Ward had groupies and were known to entertain up to 8 different women between scenes.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard
and
that for years.
so I shared this, and I'm like, my thought on it is that is a freaking awesome way to celebrate the life of Adam West, is to share that. A lot of people didn't agree.
But that's who he was.
It was.
Like, he wasn't ashamed of that.
And
he would make jokes about it.
Yeah, even at 80 years old, he was bragging about it.
Dude. He was not an innocent dude. He was.
And it wasn't like, because, you know, I guess a lot of people are thinking, you know, once he got older, he was like, oh, I need to shy away from all that. No, this dude, he voiced an offensive character on Family Guy, for God's sake. You know, it's not like, it's not like he mellowed out in his later years. He was doing the same stuff. He was proud of it. I mean, some of these articles or these interviews that they were doing were as recent as like 2014.
He made comments about that in the panel we saw him in at Dragon Con. Like, they would joke about it.
Well, part of that was just me wanting to defend myself against the unruly masses.
There's nothing wrong with sharing that article. It's part of who he was. And some people probably appreciate that about him.
Yeah,
probably has tons of extra kids out there that have, you never know.
I want to be just like Adam West when I grew up. Let's see. Well, I just totally hit a mental roadblock. Julie, take over.
Oh boy, no pressure. Thanks. What were some of the other things that we had planned to talk about? We're going to talk about Adam West.
Talk about E3. Do you have a Nintendo Switch?
I do not play electronic games.
At all?
No.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
am
just bombed.
sorry. Okay, I have a love for the first system we ever bought. Was when the Xbox 360 was coming out. A friend needed to sell his Xbox. So we got Lord of the Rings Third Age. Trying to make sure that wasn't on the other system. No, it was Lord of the Rings Third Age, and I played all the way through to the end. And I loved it. And then I fought the last fight 30 times, and finally was like, forget it! And I just stopped, because I couldn't get past that one fight.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that game, is that the game that had the Balrog on the front?
Now I did buy a PS2 just to get Gauntlet at one point. Okay. Because, you know, the video arcade game?
Yeah.
Gauntlet, favorite game ever. It's not as fun on the console. I actually prefer it as the arcade game. And then that and Soul Calibur 2 arcade games. But I'm not really a video game. I'm more of a snacks and RPG and board game gamer than an actual video game gamer. I'm horrible at Rock Band. So, but I also nobody plays Rock Band anymore. But what I used to have a cyber cafe gaming store thing, and we had people would come in and pay to play Rock Band and things like that. And if they, you know, one of the kids was there and needed somebody else to play, like, hey, will you play the drums, or will you play? No. And I was so uncoordinated to play. Like, I could play the guitar if it was on easy, but I was not coordinated enough for the drums.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who could only play the instruments on easy.
Yeah, no. Like, that's it. I was so bad.
I'll take it back. And the only reason I take it back is because I just looked at the clock and realized that we have almost been going an hour already. I honest to God thought 30 minutes.
So much fun.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know, dang, I started to struggle at just the right time. So,
I'll always find things to talk about.
So, we do have, you know, the Cosplay Yard Sale coming up July 15th and 16th. Yes. The first half of the day on both. Mm-hmm. And also, Camp Jordan Arena in Eastridge. And that's like a hop, skip, and a jump up from where we record our other stuff when we don't have time to make it up to Hickson. So, not only that, but I wouldn't be doing my job as a host if I didn't advertise our little deal coming up on the 8th of July, which is our Forever Friends fundraising Super Mario Kart event. Have you heard of that?
I have. Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun.
We actually had a huge announcement today. Jenny Parks, who I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with, she does very realistic paintings of cats dressed up as pop culture characters.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
She does like some of the regulars we've had like a Spider Cat.
Yep.
And like a Cat Wonder Woman, Batman and Bane dressed up as cats dressed up as Batman and Bane.
I want to see Batman and Bane dressed up as cats.
We actually have 13 different prints, 8x10s. Let's see if I can pull these up real quick. I'm having to log out of our chat, but I'm going to pull this up and show her so she can do a live reaction. But they're going to have the new ones for this year. This is the third event that she has actually donated prints to us. This is actually going to be our second event for the Humane Educational Society in Chattanooga, and all the money that we raise here, it's actually, I think we're going to be on the other side, but all of the money that we raise is going to the Humane Educational Society. All the money, every dime. And let's see if I can pull this up here. There we go. Yeah, just scroll down through those.
Oh, those are awesome. Stranger
Yeah, we've got
Things.
Stranger Things, X-Files, Hunger Games.
My name is Kat. I need that one. Right, it's My Name is Matt.
Oh, actually,
SNL skit where Kylo Ren's Matt.
these are actually going to be silent auctioned this time instead of us just selling them straight up. Because to be honest, we were selling them for $10 a pop at our previous events.
Oh,
and
no, people need to pay more than that.
It got to the point where people were we would have an event start at 12 o'clock. People would show up at 15 till 12 and go ahead and buy 6, and half of them were already gone before the event really got rolling. So, and then, Jason was like, well, we probably need to silent auction, instead of just selling stuff. So I said, okay. So you'll be able to actually, I think I invited you to the event.
Yes, yeah. Yep. I feel interested because there's also another event that weekend that.
Yeah, this is going to be 12 to 6, and I think our silent auction is going to wrap at about 5. So there are going to be other events going on that day, geek themed events. So if you get a chance, drop by, leave early.
Drop by, put money in.
The big thing aside from the auctions is how we're going to be raising money. Is I'm going to be set up destroying everyone in Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart. So if anybody shows up, they could pay a suggested donation of $5 to the Humane Educational Society
And beat you at Mario Kart.
If the $5 donation gets you an entry into a race against me one-on-one, Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, I can play that one.
And if once you pay the $5, you get an entry into a grand prize drawing for $50 in store credit from here at Infinity Flux. If you beat me, you get an extra entry into the drawing, a free canned soda, and we're going to have a big, huge table-sized dry erase board up on the wall, and you're going to have your name and your race time and what track it was on and everything. It's like a winner's plaque, basically. And then we're going to draw about 15 to 6 that night for the for the actual $50, and then we're actually going to have beer and wine for silent auction too. Yeah, no doubt. Because that was one of the things I was iffy about asking, Jason, hey, is it okay to have beer and wine here? And I actually asked him before we did it. He was like, yeah, some of my employees will probably want some. So, okay, man, cool. So, but yeah, you got to be 21 for that. 21 for beer and wine. Then we're going to have several other, I think one of the hot things that the Humane Educational Society is actually giving us a silent auction is they are giving us a certificate to, I think it's Chattanooga.
Oh,
and
okay.
You get it, and the certificate is good for not only a spay or neuter of your animal, but also $200 in services that include worming, vaccinations, just about anything you could imagine they can do. $200 gift certificate towards all those services. So, and we're starting that out at $10. So that's $200 and probably $280 worth of stuff starting at $10. So, but the silent auction is going to wrap at $545, and the silent auction is going to wrap at $5, and then everything else is going to wrap at $545. So, any further before we're at an hour. Anything further about the Cosplay Yard Sale? I want to end with that.
I just want to make sure everybody comes out. Again, it's free to get in if you're just coming to shop. 9 to 3 on Saturday, 10 to 2 on Sunday. Lots of items, lots of different vendors. I have I think it's 30 individual vendors this year, trying to see if I have more space for more. Free to get in, rain or shine, so make sure you can make it out, because you can stop by, have a snack, buy some stuff in the air conditioning. It's air conditioned.
As it is, like, usually July 8th, it's like 250 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So this is going to be inside in the nice, cool air conditioning.
Yes. Camp Jordan Arena they host us every year, and they're really great, and
They have Wi-Fi?
They do have Wi-Fi.
Okay, because that was going to be like the must-have thing. Like, we have to have
Pretty
Wi-Fi,
sure
because we're going to be live streaming.
Right, so we need Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for how great it is, but it is there.
Well, we were
We'll
able
find
to
out.
kind of sort of live stream at Conuga, and there were like 50,000 people mooching off of that one.
It
So
should be good.
yeah. All right. Well, I apologize in advance, Julie. I apologize in advance. We're going to have Julie take us out.
Well, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching us.
Come on. You got to say, okay, just two basic things.
Okay.
You got to say, or you have to give everybody the opportunity, I'm so-and-so.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
You got to mention Untitled Nerd Network. You got to mention our sponsor, Infinity Flux.
All right. Thanks for watching us, Untitled Nerd Network here at Infinity Flux. I'm Julie.
I'm Mel.
And I'm Lonnie.
And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Good job, Julie.
Yay.